Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the raw, emotional world of the band Cold, a group that managed to turn some really deep personal pain into this powerful, lasting connection with millions of people. All right, to really get their story, you have to start at the top, at the absolute height of their success. So picture this. It's 2003. The post-grunge and nu-metal scenes are exploding. And right in the middle of all that, Cold drops their third album, Year of the Spider. And believe me, in a world crowded with angst and aggression, this thing wasn't just a splash, it was a tidal wave. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 chart. I mean, number 3. That's a massive achievement. We're talking about them being right up there with the biggest names in music at the time. And let's put that into perspective for a second. That's over 100,000 people in 1 week rushing out to buy an album that was just steeped in melancholy, introspection, and this raw, unfiltered pain. The numbers were absolutely staggering. So this is the big question, right? How did they do it? It wasn't just about catchy riffs. No, it was about this profound, almost primal connection they made with an audience that was just craving something real. So let's get into it. To find the answer, we gotta rewind. We're going back to the humid garages of Jacksonville, Florida, long before the record deals and the sold-out tours. You know, the core of the band actually got together way back in 1986 under the name Grundig. And they grinded for years, even moved to Atlanta, broke up, and then got back together in Florida in '96. Their huge break came when a fellow Jacksonville native, Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit, heard them, loved them, and helped them get a record deal, which led to their first album in 1998. And the story of their name? It's a fantastic piece of rock trivia. So their original name, Grundig, was also the name of a German stereo company. And, well, that company threatened to sue them. While they were talking about it, Limp Bizkit's guitarist Wes Borland just commented on the whole situation, saying, "That's cold." And it just stuck. It perfectly captured the vibe and the themes that would define their music. So they had a new name, they had a record deal, the stage was set. But it was their second album that was really going to define who they were and where they were going. In 2000, they dropped 13 Ways to Bleed on stage. And this was it. This was the one. The album went gold, pushed by huge singles like No One and Just Got Wicked. They also added a second guitarist, Terry Balsamo, which was such a crucial move because it freed up frontman Scooter Ward to just focus on his vocals and on connecting with the audience. Oh, and this is also when their iconic spider logo first showed up, kind of like their music, creeping up and catching you in its web. Yeah, this album was way darker, heavier, and just more emotionally raw than their debut. And it connected, big time. At a time when so many other bands were all about bravado, Cold's vulnerability really stood out. People who felt alone or were in pain suddenly heard their own feelings in the music, and this community started to build around them. And right at the center of this emotional storm was one person, frontman and chief songwriter Scooter Ward. His lyrics weren't just words, they were basically confessions. And this right here is where you find the soul of the band. Ward wasn't writing about some abstract concepts. No, he was pulling directly from his own life, putting his own struggles with addiction, loss, and depression out there with this just startling honesty. I mean, just take the song Cure My Tragedy. It is a gut-wrenching plea that he wrote while his sister was fighting this horrible battle with cancer. He's even said that for years he couldn't even perform it live without breaking down. And it wasn't a one-off thing. Their hit Gone Away was this beautiful, sad tribute to a childhood friend he'd lost, and that violin part just drives the feeling home. This right here, this piece of advice from their producer, Ross Robinson, basically became their mission statement. It wasn't about just singing the lyrics. It was about reliving the emotion. Every single time, whether in the studio or on stage, Scooter goes back to that pain, to that exact moment he wrote the song, to deliver it with that original, authentic feeling. And this is Scooter's core belief as a songwriter. He says that the thoughts you're too scared to even admit to yourself, the feelings that seem way too dark to share, that's the stuff you have to write about. Because that brutal honesty, that's what creates an unbreakable connection with the people listening. This commitment to what he called real shit didn't just sell albums, it built a family. The fans who really felt this vulnerability became so much more than just listeners. They became the Cold Army, a seriously dedicated community that saw the band almost as a lifeline, a voice for their own struggles. And this relationship, It goes both ways. Scooter Ward literally calls their tours a big family reunion. And then you look at it from the other side. A fan review in Empire Extreme says it all. This band has honestly saved my life many times. I mean, that's a bond that goes so much deeper than just liking a band's music. Through all the lineup changes, a temporary breakup, and the constantly shifting music industry, Cold has just kept going. They've put out 6 studio albums, their music has popped up everywhere in pop culture, and they still tour, often celebrating the very albums that built this incredible community in the first place. So when you look back at their whole career, from those garages in Jacksonville all the way to the top of the charts, it really makes you ask a pretty fundamental question about what makes a band truly successful. For a band like Cold, I think the answer is pretty clear. Yeah, the gold records and the chart positions are impressive, for sure. But their real legacy, that's etched into the lives of the Cold Army, a true testament to the power of turning your own pain into something that can help everyone else heal.